All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling the skilled trades.
Specifically, carpentry.
You got it. If you've ever,
Yeah.
wondered what it takes to build a career, not behind a computer, but,
With your hands.
yeah, swinging a hammer, maybe building a house, then
Buckle up.
this is for you. We've got stories from apprentices, those just starting out,
Journeyman, the pros.
even instructors.
Those who've seen it all.
Right. We're going to get the real deal, no sugarcoating, on what it's like to make a living in this field.
And it's fascinating, we talk about blue-collar work, but
Yeah.
writing these accounts,
Mm-hmm.
it's the expertise that jumps out at you.
It's not just
Brute strength.
Yeah.
It's deep knowledge.
Yeah.
Materials, structures, techniques.
Right. Like, one thing that surprised me
Yeah.
was how competitive it is just to get into carpentry.
Oh, interesting.
Like this Portland Brothers Keeper program.
I've heard of them.
They do these boot
Giant
camps
pigs.
with physical evaluations. They really put people through it.
Makes sense, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the responsibility is huge.
Building the places we live, work.
Exactly. Safety, precision, no room for error.
And I guess these programs, they weed out folks
Who aren't serious.
who can't handle it.
It's tough.
Which is interesting because we also have this video, Survival in the Construction Trades, and it's, well,
Blunt.
yeah, long days, hard work.
No escaping that jackhammer.
But then you hear from Messiah Hamilton.
Former Marine turned carpenter.
Exactly, and he compares the two.
Camaraderie, the Brotherhood.
The work ethic
Makes you wonder, what is it about this work?
that draws people in.
It's more than just a job.
Yeah, and Messiah talks about carpentry teaching him self-reliance in a way the military didn't.
Interesting, right?
It is.
Like this need to create something,
tangible.
solve problems
See it through.
from start to finish.
Reminds me of that NAS CTF training video.
Oh, yeah.
They say they teach you everything you need to know.
Bold claim.
It is, but what does everything even mean?
Well, it's a lot more than swinging a hammer.
Okay, so
Blueprints, building codes, framing, trim work,
all that.
and the field keeps changing.
Right, always new stuff.
Tools, materials, sustainability.
So a carpenter has to be,
A lifelong learner.
which makes those boot camps even more interesting.
Right.
They're not just looking for muscle, it's
The mindset.
attitude, teamwork, that willingness to learn.
Makes sense.
And there's this story about a woman who was terrified.
Terrified.
Yeah, thought it was,
A man's world.
but she pushed through, graduated, has a job waiting.
That's amazing.
Shows you it's about...
Drive. Determination.
Absolutely.
Her story really highlights this. It's not just a job.
Right.
It's a path.
You choose it.
Requires resilience, positivity,
That constant learning.
but gives you back
Yeah.
purpose, belonging.
Contributing to something bigger.
Exactly.
And that brings us to the next stage.
The apprenticeship.
Earn while you learn. No college debt.
Huge these days.
But as we've heard,
It's no walk in the park.
so what does this apprenticeship actually look like?
Well, think of it as a structured path to mastery.
Okay.
You work alongside journeymen, learn on the job,
Hands-on experience.
but also formal instruction.
It's like a blend
Years of commitment, high standards.
to make sure you graduate as a, what do you call it?
A confident carpenter.
Right. Now, on top of that, there's the union.
Another layer.
Marco Calderon's second story really hit me.
How so?
Joining the union, it transformed his life.
Financially.
Stability, health insurance for his daughter,
It's a safety net.
it felt like.
And Marco's story showcases those tangible benefits.
Right. Fair wages, health care, retirement,
But it's also about having someone in your corner,
an advocate.
making sure you're treated fairly, have access to training.
And speaking of training, that Western States Carpenters Training Fund video,
Oh, wow.
11,000 apprentices, 28 training centers.
Huge operation.
They're constantly updating skills, courses on everything.
Welding, fall protection. It's impressive.
Makes you wonder how they keep up those standards.
It's a logistical feat, for sure,
And it shows their commitment
to their members, yeah,
and to maintaining a skilled workforce.
which benefits everyone ultimately.
Because, let's face it, the quality of everything we build,
Our homes, bridges, infrastructure.
it depends on these skilled professionals.
Absolutely.
It's amazing to think about the impact they have.
Even if we don't always see it.
Right, but with all the challenges we've talked about,
Yeah,
why would someone choose this path?
it's a great question.
What keeps them going?
I think it leads us to a deeper part of this conversation.
Okay.
The pride, the purpose that comes with this work.
It's not just a paycheck, is it?
Not at all.
There's something about building something with your own hands
Yeah.
that must feel incredibly satisfying.
And that brings us to a quote from Asaya, from that Build Better video.
Yeah.
He talks about the joy of seeing people happy with what he built.
Even if they don't know he did it.
Exactly. That speaks volumes.
About the motivation, the craftsmanship.
Leaving a legacy.
It's like they're building more than just structures.
Right.
They're building communities, building a future.
And speaking of legacy,
Yeah.
we can't forget Marco Calderon II, a third-generation carpenter.
Following his grandfather.
That tradition, carrying on the family craft, it adds another layer to this story.
It really does.
It speaks to the value of these skills.
How they're passed down.
Connecting us to the past while building the future.
It's pretty powerful stuff.
It is.
We've only scratched the surface here, but even so, for someone listening who's maybe considering this as a career,
Yeah,
it can feel overwhelming.
sure.
So, what advice would you give to someone at that crossroads, weighing their options?
Well, I'd say, first, be honest with yourself.
Eric, you.
Your strengths, your interests.
Do you even like working with your hands?
Exactly. Enjoy problem solving. Comfortable with physical labor. Because the trades are rewarding. They're not for everyone.
It's like that saying,
Which one?
measure twice, cut once.
Uh-huh. I get it.
Make sure it's the right fit.
Before you jump in,
And if it feels like a yes,
then explore.
use those resources we've mentioned.
Contact the Western States Carpenters Training Fund.
Check out Portland Brothers Keeper.
Talk to people in the field.
Get a real sense of the work.
Do your homework.
And don't rely on those old stereotypes,
About the trades being a last resort,
which, from everything we've learned,
couldn't be further from the truth.
it's an outdated view.
These jobs need skill, intelligence, dedication to learning,
And they offer a stable career.
with the chance to contribute something lasting.
It makes me think back to Asaya's question.
What would you build?
Right, if you had the skills, the tools, what would you create? Something that would bring joy, leave your mark on the world.
That's a powerful thought, isn't it?
It is.
It goes beyond just a job.
You're shaping the environment.
Building something meaningful.
Something that will last.
Exactly.
So to anyone listening, even a little curious,
Yeah.
don't dismiss the trades.
Explore, learn, talk to people.
You might find a passion you never knew you had.
And remember,
Yeah,
it's not just about building structures.
it's about building a future.
A future for yourself, your family, your community.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of carpentry.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning.
And keep building.
See you next time.
Take care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is powerful, that connection to something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, family tradition, the community within the union.
The union, right? We saw that union apprenticeship video, all those classes,
Mhm.
welding, fall protection.
It's more than just basic carpentry.
You're always learning.
And it's free for members, which is huge.
But how do they handle all those apprentices? I mean,
Right.
making sure the training is good, up to date, it's a big job.
It is, but, beyond all that, what I'm really curious about is
What,
the day-to-day.
like, what's it actually like to be a carpenter out there on a job site?
Well, the sources don't hold back. It's
Wow.
physically demanding. Yeah, you're on your feet all day, lifting, often working in,
Less than ideal conditions.
you could say that, heat, cold, rain.
No snooze button on a jackhammer, like we said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even with all that, there's this constant theme of
Camaraderie.
Asaya compared it to the Marines, that shared experience.
Working towards a goal, it builds a bond.
And it makes me think of something else Asaya said.
Mm-hmm.
Carpentry is not just about building. It's about
Problem solving.
you run into challenges, unexpected stuff. You have to adapt, be creative.
Find solutions on the fly.
It takes a certain kind of person to thrive in that.
But let's be real, no job's perfect.
True.
What about the downsides? What do these carpenters struggle with?
Well, one thing mentioned is the up and down nature of construction.
Projects ending, periods of unemployment.
And that uncertainty can be stressful, especially with a family.
Didn't Marco Calderon's story touch on that?
Yeah, the union helps.
With benefits, finding new jobs, financial advice.
It's about support during tough times.
And we can't forget the physical toll on your body.
You need a certain level of strength, stamina.
It's not for everyone.
Right, you have to be aware of that, take care of yourself.
But for those who are drawn to it,
The rewards can be huge.
and we've talked about the pay, the benefits, but what about that feeling?
Oof.
Satisfaction, accomplishment, building something with your own hands.
It has to feel good, Seeing it come to life,
Knowing you played a part in it.
leaving your mark on the world. Literally.
And there's room to grow too, right? We saw how the Western States Carpenters offer those.
Continuing education courses.
Upgrading skills, taking on new challenges.
The trades are always evolving.
New technologies, materials.
Sustainability practices.
So it's not just about learning once. You're constantly...
And adapting, learning.
And it's not just technical stuff either. Several instructors talked about
Soft skills.
communication, teamwork, problem solving,
Crucial on a job site.
where everyone has to work together.
For safety, efficiency.
It's interesting you're getting this well-rounded skill set,
Technical expertise, and those interpersonal skills.
which are useful everywhere in life.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a lot, the training, the challenges, the rewards. But for someone listening, thinking, hey, maybe this is for me,
Yeah.
what are the key takeaways
I think it's clear the trades offer a real path.
to a good career?
For those willing to work hard, put in the effort.
It's not easy, but...
It can provide purpose, community, financial security.
And that pride in building something real, that matters.
Something lasting.
More than just hammering nails.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really feels like we've, I don't know, just scratched the surface here.
It's a lot to take in.
Inspiring stories, the training, the union's role.
A lot of layers.
But for someone listening, thinking about this as a career,
Yeah.
it can still feel like, where do I even start?
Right. It's daunting.
So, any advice for someone at that point, trying to decide
Well, like we said before, be honest with yourself.
about whether this is even a good fit?
Exactly. Do you like hands-on work, problem solving, physical stuff?
Because the trades can be great.
But it's not for everyone.
We said, measure twice, cut once.
Make sure it's right for you.
And if it is,
Explore.
all those resources we talked about,
The Western States Carpenters.
Portland Brothers Keeper, talk to people who are actually doing it.
Get the inside scoop.
Do your homework. Don't just go off those old ideas about
The trades being a last resort
which, after all this,
couldn't be further from the truth.
it takes skill, intelligence to be a carpenter,
The real career.
stable, rewarding, and you're building something that lasts.
Making a difference.
It brings us back to Asai's question.
What would you build?
Right. If you had those skills, what would you create? What would your mark on the world be?
That's a good question to think about.
It really is, because it's not just about the job itself.
It's bigger than that.
You're shaping your community, the environment,
Building something meaningful.
something that will be here long after we're gone.
That's the power of the trades.
So if you're even a little bit curious,
Don't write it off.
learn about it, talk to people.
You might discover something amazing.
And remember, we keep saying it.
It's about more than just buildings.
It's about building a future.
For yourself, your family, your community.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of carpentry.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time. Keep learning, keep questioning.
And keep building.